This is going to be chapter 7, the history of Aletto Brothers. Originally, it wasn't called Aletto Brothers. It was called Aletto and Galati. And the company was put together by my father, Alberto Aletto, and a friend of his name was Al as well, but was Al Galati, Italian fellow. He also was from Brooklyn, and he lived on the same block where we lived on 52nd Street and 14th Avenue. He was actually a postman. He had two jobs. He was a postman and he was a superintendent of his building where he lived. He had two daughters. One of the daughters was my age. Her name was Mindy. Cute little girl, blonde. He was Italian. The mother was Irish. So anyway, in life, you always got to meet somebody that is going to do something for you. No man is a mountain. No man is does it by itself. It's always somebody's input for you to become who you become. In this case, my father, he was still working for this company, and no, I'm sorry, he already had his little place in Peister's office. Well, it wasn't really an office. It was like a warehouse on the third floor on 17 West 47th Street. And we had made a little space for him for his workbench. And he used to go there every day. We used to go after school and help him. But let me get to Galati. So my father met this mailman because of me. That's what we're talking about. You know, there's an action for every reaction. There's a reaction for every action. In this case, what happened was me and Mindy, we used to hang out in the schoolyard across the street from where I lived. Well, all of our friends. And I guess I used to pick on her all the time, you know, kid stuff. We were like 10 years old, 11 years old, no older than that. Anyway, one day she got fed up with my bullying her. I guess I was bullying her. And her father, she told her father came to my house, you know, to straighten things out. He wanted to talk to my father about my behavior and stuff fathers do for their kids. He wasn't aggressive. He just came to try to put an end to all the shenanigans. Well, he did. He came. He spoke to my father. I apologized to Mandy. We became better friends. But at the same time, Al, Mindy's father, became good friends with my father. And with time, as a matter of fact, my father had made a ring for his wife. They became good friends. They started, you know, talking. And what happened was one day, out of nowhere, this guy Al, he was a mailman. He was a janitor in his own building. He had a couple of dollars saved, and he got together with my father. And they said, well, you know, why don't we start something? And my father said, okay, fine. So Al made an investment in my father. He was a silent partner. Of course, you know, he wasn't going to leave his job. And my father took that money that Al gave him, and he went to Italy and he bought some machineries, polishing, a roller, a few other things from this company in Italy. now he went and he set up an office and he started this company. And they went on. Now, a few years down, no, I don't even think it was a few years, maybe a year or so. What happened was his younger brother, Carmine, that was living in Venezuela, he came back to the States and he started working with my father. And in reality, it was three brothers. It was Alberto, my father, Carmine, and Mario. They were always together. As a matter of fact, they were in business together in South America until things went bad. And that's another story, because my father used to drive around with his own limousine and driver. But like I said, that's another story. So now what happened was my father was very good friends with this guy, Al. They had a company together. Al didn't really physically do anything for the company, but he did put up the money. That was the startup of Aletto and Galati. And my uncle kind of convinced my father to push him out and take him in as a partner, which my father did. And he did because that was his brother, and blood is thicker than water. I made the same mistake, and I have another story about that. But anyway, let's go on with this Aletto and Galati. Now, Carmine came in. It was Carmine, my father. The operation was already going. They had a few guys working for them, and a few years down the road, his other brother came, Mario, and he started working with my father and Carmine. But Carmine didn't like the idea. He says, nah, too many people here. Not to mention that Mario really wasn't the jeweler that my father was or Carmine was. So Carmine kind of, started trouble and made Mario go back to South America. And, whatever. That's the way it went for Mario. It went bad. But now, the brothers, what they did was they changed the name from Aletto and Galati because, my father pushed his friend out of the company. I don't know if he ever paid him, but I'm sure he did. But then it became Aletto Brothers. They changed it from Aletto and Galati to Aletto Brothers. Now, this company belonged to my father and Carmine. And this went on for a good, maybe, 10, 15 years until the brothers had differences of opinion, family stuff. They broke up and the company was dissolved. Period. That's it. No more Aletto Brothers. Now, after my father died, the company before that it went from Aletto Brothers to, they opened up a little jewelry store. I think they named it after my mother. It's a nickname that my mother had that I don't remember. It was a funny name it was a silly name. It was a silly jewelry store. They sold stupid shit. It wasn't going anywhere. So from there, they decided to go to Huntington, Long Island, a better neighborhood, the 5 towns. They opened up the jewelry store, which I built. Well, we all did, but I was the main guy. And as a matter of fact, my father named it Franco Jewelers. And that was the name of the company for, I don't know, maybe 5, 6 years, for as long as they had the jewelry store. So this Aletto Brothers, it disappeared. It wasn't in the game anymore. It was done. So after my father got sick and they got rid of Franco's Jewelers, they came back to Shirley. My father was with me. Then he passed away. My brother came up. He met before my father died. There was a guy, Fred. He was a stone cutter, and he used to work with my father. My father used to have some stones. He used to cut them for him and that kind of stuff. Anyway, this guy came up with this idea that he had about cutting stones and putting them, on tracks. That's what he called it. And as a matter of fact, he named it. He was calling it no metal mounting. Now, I wasn't part of that. I had my own jewelry, so this was Fred, the stone cutter, my father, and my brother. But my father didn't take interest in that because that's when he was sick with cancer. So he had no time to pay attention in that. Not to mention he died a few months later, maybe 5-6 months later. Now, my brother wasn't really a jeweler. My brother was always a kind of a salesman, that kind of stuff. Yeah, he defended himself at the bench like I did. But he became a jeweler after my father died. With the little basic that we had no choice, but we went on. And with practice, we became better jewelers. My brother became a better jeweler because that's all he did. The bench. Me, I did other stuff. And, I just didn't become the jeweler my brother became because I didn't sit at the bench as much as he did. But that doesn't mean I wasn't a good jeweler. I was just not as good as my brother. But my brother had one thing missing. He didn't have an open mind. He was very focused in a tunnel. He didn't see to the right, he didn't see to the left. He had no imagination. As a matter of fact, he's not a creative or anything. He just copies. He copies everybody. He copies everything. Just like this no metal mounting, which when he first introduced it to me, and he said, look what I got, look what I'm making. Yeah, it was basic stuff, stones running on 2 tracks, and interesting. But when I saw what kind of money he was bringing, I jumped on it with him. And we sat down at the table. Now, my younger brothers, they were young, but, they helped. They helped a lot. Also, my sister, my mother. It became a family affair because we all kind of pushed together. My mother, my sister, my kid brothers, especially Bobby. Bobby was a little older than Ollie Boy and very good with his hands, always. Ollie Boy was very fast. So, we all kind of helped each other. And we developed together this no metal mountain that my brother introduced. We made it better. All of us, we made it better. We created tools. We created forms. We just worked together. It's one for all for one. Now, we never had the opportunity to speculate on how the stuff was made. We never saw there was no jewelry on the market similar to this. So we went on. To us, it was called no metal mounting because that's the way this guy Fred introduced it to us. Which incidentally, this guy just walked out of the whole thing. We never saw him again after my father died. So one day we we had an auction book from Sotheby, and we seen there was a piece on the book, and we looked at it. So me and my brother, we went to the auction house to go see this piece because we seen it was called Invisibly Set Jewelry. And that was the first time we heard of the proper name. So we went to the auction. We went to look at this piece. It was one piece. We asked the people that were on the floor if we can examine the piece, and we did. The first thing we did is we turned it around. It was me and my brother, I'll never forget. And we looked at the back of it, and we looked at each other and said, wow, man, we figured it out without even seeing ever one piece. We had it down to a T, and we were very happy. So right away, our no metal mountain became Invisibly Set Jewelry. And this was something that it was a big plus for us. And I remember that there was a fella that worked for Van Cleef and Arpels, Tom. Forget his last name. And my brother knew him. Because my brother was, capable of talking to people, going back and forth. He was a busybody. That's what he did all throughout his career in the jewelry business. Me, I was more all over the place. But, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, everybody helps. So I remember we had maybe, I don't know, a dozen pieces that we had finished. They bought them all. As a matter of fact, they asked us to go to Van Cleef and Arpels. At the time, Mr. Arpels was still alive, older guy. He was married to a Japanese woman, young woman, beautiful. And I remember we were sitting in the office, my brother and I. And the guy didn't speak English, but his wife was translating everything, the whole conversation. They offered us at the time, going back, my God, maybe 35 years ago, $1 million contract for everything we produced. And my brother didn't want to go for it. And, I understood. At the time, I didn't understand, but, he was my older brother. I followed whatever he wanted to do, I did. And he was right, because what they were trying to do is they were trying to lock us in and not make us become their competition, which we did. As a matter of fact, they even tried to sue us. It didn't go well for them. So that's when we brought back Aletto Brothers. It wasn't Aletto Brothers, but we made it Aletto Brothers. Aletto Brother, all of us. The name belonged to all of us. To all of us. We all worked together. And I became 40% partner of everything I produce on the bench. And he got 60% of what I produced, but I didn't get anything of what he produced because it was okay, because he was taking care of my mother and my sister and my brothers. I was taking care of me. So it was a good deal. Whatever I produce on the bench, I take 40%, and he got the 60%. And one day he turned around and he says, you're making too much money. I looked at it, I say I'm making too much money. I'm working just like you're working. Not to mention, I kind of developed a few tools. Without my help, you wouldn't have got it. Well, we're not going to get into the technical stuff because it's too complicated, and this video is going to be too long. And maybe I'll make a video about that. But I helped a lot. My brothers helped a lot. My mother helped a lot. My sister helped a lot. We all did it together. Aletto Brother was created by all of us, not just him. But he stole that. He became Mr. Shit. He became Aletto Brothers. He pushed everybody out. I remember the day he said to me, because he used to talk to me all the time, that my other brothers, they were too young. He says, I'm tired of taking care of Mommy and tired of taking care of Bianca. I said, well, you're not really taking care of them. We're working with the whole family. Yeah, but they don't produce anything. Yeah, but they weren't producing anything when we first started. We had an agreement. You use her money, you use mommy's money, use the money that belonged to the kids. We didn't get here on thin air. Anyway, he got greedy. He bought, he pushed my mother out. He pushed my sister out. My brothers didn't count. And he kind of pushed me out as well. Now, what he did was, we had that jewelry store, which it wasn't his and it wasn't mine. It belonged to my sister originally, but he went partners with my sisters. And then the jewelry store, all of a sudden, it became his. Not ours, it became his. So he made me a deal. He said, look, if you promise not to do invisibly said jewelry, I'll give you the front of the store, I'll take the back. He was going to take the production of the store in the back, and he was going to give me the retail store in the front, which he did. So he says to me, let's put a price together, and let's make a deal. I says, okay. We went out, we came up with, again, I'm going back maybe 35 years ago, maybe a few years more. And we made a deal for $100,000. It was convenient to me. We were making a lot of money. $100,000 wasn't a lot of money then, because we were getting 50, 60,000 for every piece we were making. So it wasn't really a lot of money. So he sold the front of the store with all the merchandise that was in it for $100,000 to me. And for me to pay him at $1,000 a month and give him rent free in the back of the store. I went for it. Now, my younger brother, Bobby, worked next to him. And he worked like a dog. I mean, that kid worked like a dog. And Ali Boy was more rebellious. He locked horns with him all the time. As a matter of fact, I remember the kid wanted to leave. He wanted to go to work for, I don't know, one of the grocery stores that were in the area. And I took him. I says, "Come here. We're gonna take the front of the store. We're gonna be partners, me and you. We're gonna work the front of the store. You're gonna stay here. Don't pay attention to him." So he listened to me. He went along. And then what happened was, I worked with him. I don't remember. It was a short time, maybe 5, 6, 7 months. I don't remember if that long. And one day I just had enough of it. And I said to him, look, I'm going to leave. I think I was going to South America. Everything here is yours. Just give your brother $1,000 a month, and everything else is yours. And don't fight with him, ignore him. Just make believe he's not there. So when my older brother heard that I was giving the store to Ali Boy, he says to me, if I knew you were going to give it to him, I wouldn't have made this deal. I said, you know what, you don't really have a choice, because whatever deal me and you made, it was made. Now, whatever I want to do is my fucking business, none of your fucking business. But he took it at heart. So when I left, he kept giving Ali Boy a hard time. He was a fucking bully, and he's a disgrace. He's a disgrace to me, to my family. So getting back to Aletto Brothers, he did not create Aletto Brothers. Aletto Brothers was created by all of us. He stole it. Just like he stole my father's money. He became my father's partner after my father died. He had the balls to talk about it when my father was still alive. Because my father would have put him in his fucking place. And if my father would have told me, don't let him have believe me, he would have got a fucking dime. But that's okay, we can't do anything about that. But, like I said, Aletto Brothers was not created by him. He's a miserable human being. Aletto Brothers was created by, actually, it was Aletto and Galati. As a matter of fact, I have a picture, an original picture, where my father had his first jewelry show, and it says clearly, Aletto and Galati. He went and he took that photo and he had it, in those photo magical things, he had it removed. The Galati, he just got Aletto. I think he did Aletto Brothers. But it goes to show you, everything he has done, it's all fake. There's nothing original about him. Absolutely nothing. The only thing that he could say that he did originally is he fucked his family. And that he did for sure. Completely. And he should be ashamed of himself. So, to recap the whole thing, the Aletto Brothers was not invented by him. He stole it, just like he stole my father's money after he died. When the visibly set jewelry that we created, we as in all of us, me, my younger brothers, my mother, my sister, with the help of everybody, we created that jewelry. With the support, with the moral support, every kind of support you could think of, okay? But he took everything. He took the money, he took the pride of everybody. He's just a miserable person. Miserable. And he talks to people, he did it. He did everything. But anyway, this is chapter 7 of, I don't know how many chapters I'm going to do, but there's a lot of stuff I want to talk about. And again, if you want to follow me, you have to like this video, subscribe to this channel. That way you'll get notifications when the new video comes out. Have a great day.